don't want to know about what he can do. I want to know who he is. I want to know the complexities of his divinity. I want to know, was he a Diophysite or a Monophysite? I want to understand what was behind the Nestorian heresies, what was behind the Arian heresies that the church condemned. I want to know the mysteries in God. I want to know what makes him him. I want to be able to understand that this Jesus was not just a man, and he was not just God. He was called by the early theologians the Theanthropos. Theos meaning God, anthropos meaning man. He was the God-man. See, folks, some of you don't want to know him as the God-man. You just want to know him as a provider. You just want to know him as a healer. You just want to know him as a deliverer. But I want to know the complexities that lie behind him that caused the fathers, Athanasius, to say he was light of light, very God of very God, begotten and not made, of one essence with the Father. Together with the Father and the Son is worship and glorify. I want to know the very essence that is found before his very nature. Now some of you say, what's that got to do with me? Nothing. It ain't got nothing to do with you, but it's got everything to do with him. And if you're going to worship, you got to know what you worship. If you're going to get into another dimension, there's folks that know Bishop Ashe. When you see the robes and the vestments, you can only get so close. I got staff trained to keep some of you crazy folks away from me. I don't want you to get close because I'm not ready to enter into that level, but I got other folks who see me without my robes. They know the foods that I like. They know the cologne that I like. They know that I'm late everywhere. I don't show up nowhere on time. That's just the way I am. And they begin to understand the complexities that are behind me. That doesn't belong to the majority. That belongs to the minority. And those people I call my friend because they have invested in knowing me beyond the public me, in knowing me beyond the person that they want to know because I'm a position, because I got some weight, because I got some clout, because I preached in some big conferences, because I'm selling some tapes. But there are some folks who say, I got people who say, listen, your conference don't impress me, your title don't impress me, your ring don't impress me, your cross don't impress me. I've got a covenant friendship with you beyond that. And there's a point where God, you don't have to give me another house. You ain't got to give me another dime. You don't have to provide another miracle. You don't have to do another thing for me. I still want to know you in the power of your resurrection and in the fellowship of your suffering. I want to know him. Theanthropos, God-man. So much God, it was hard to believe he could be a man. So much of a man, it was hard to believe he could be God. So much of a man, he was born of a woman. So much of God, he was begotten of the Father. So much of a man, he fell asleep in a boat. So much of God, he said, peace be still when he woke up. So much of a man, he felt sorry for 5,000 people that were hungry. So much of God, he fed them with 2 fish and 5 pieces of bread. So much of a man, when his best friend died, he cried. So much of God, when he got through crying, he said, Lazarus, come forth. Ooh, so much of a man. He was mad that his mama was always nagging him. So much of God, when he got through telling his mama, leave me alone, he said, bring me some empty vessels and turn water to wine. So much of a man, he could die on a cross. So much of God, he got him own self up by his own power. He is a complex being. And as long as we are just trying to get blessed, we will never truly be able to appreciate the God of the universe, the sovereign ruler of all that has been created, the maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. I want to know him beyond what he does for me. Sit down, I'm going to preach in a minute. I'm almost finished with my introduction. It was the Greek writers, Basil of Caesarea, that said, Pantahu paran kaito panta pleran. That God is present in all things and filling all things. There is nothing that God has ever created that he does not participate in beyond his creation. God is participating with us in the life that we live. And he requires us to participate back with him. Gregory of Nyssa called God Koran, which means the one who contains all things. Yet he calls him Akoretos, which means he is uncontained. In other words, everything's inside of him, and he ain't inside of nothing. This is a complex being. We just want to know him. I just want to know him. As a lawyer in the law room. As a doctor in the sick room.